Hey guys, what is going on? My name is Tim Petey and welcome to yet another game review. Today we're looking at Crysis, the former king of the graphical world. But is there enough left in this package to make it still worth picking up today, or has its time gone? Let's find out. Lower the gates! Since Crysis was so well known for its graphics, let's take a look at those first. Right off the bat, you notice that this game does still look pretty damn good. Most of the textures are high quality, and the lighting does a great job of projecting shadows realistically. The character models are also really quite good, with great detail, though during close-ups the lighting usually went kinda haywire on their faces, causing random black spaces to appear. The equipment, like the weapons, nanosuit, and vehicles, are also nicely detailed, helping to immerse you into this realistic-looking world. The view distance is also pretty good, though you will notice that the graphics do not render even decently out past a certain distance. Mind you, this distance is pretty far, but if you're sniping you will see a big drop-off in quality. There are a few other minor gripes I have, but the big problem is with the actual engine. Clearly the engine for Crysis was built with power in mind, without efficiency, because it is a hog. I started the game with very high graphics in all categories and ended on medium, and the boss fight at the end still managed to chug. My computer definitely should have been able to handle this, and clearly the problem is with the engine. It looks great, but it manages to slow down everything way more than it should have. Now that we've gotten the graphics out of the way, let's take a look at the story. The game starts with your character, codenamed Nomad, and 3 other Special Forces soldiers in nanosuits jumping out of a cargo plane and landing on a small island in the Pacific. A distress call has been received a week before, saying that North Koreans were invading the island and taking the archaeologist team located there hostage. Shortly after you arrive, you realize the Koreans are up to no good and that something is loose on the island. A fleet soon arrives to help force the Koreans off the island, while you help locate the hostages and push towards the location of the Koreans' leader, General Kyong, who is at the dig site. You arrive there, kill him, and enter a strange temple-like structure that has been found inside. As is normal with my reviews, I don't want to give away the second half of the story. Suffice to say that while the first half may not be very original, it does help to draw you into this conflict to retake the island. The second half, when you go into the temple, however, is when things get really trippy. The motivations of the group that you find inside the temple really make no sense. They've been insanely powerful for a very long time and just decide to act now. I know that the archaeology team probably has something to do with it, but still, why not have acted before? Clearly they didn't need any help getting out of the temple in the mountain. Why were they waiting so long? Now the time has come to talk about the last important pillar of any game, the gameplay. As with everything else, Crysis' gameplay has its strength and dismal faults. The gunplay on foot is executed very well. Nomad controls very sharply, with your access to gun modifications and change between suit modes feeling very natural, with a simple press of the V key and mouse movement to go from one mode to the other. When I talked to Sonic H about it, he said that he used the system of double tapping certain keys to switch modes, like double jump for strength, double crouch for stealth, etc. While I found that this wasn't for me, especially when I was doing high jumps in strength mode and switching to armor mode mid-flight to help lessen fall damage, I can certainly see the benefit of not having to access a menu and merely adding more functionality to keys you already use all the time. Another pretty good part of the gameplay in the game is the AI. The North Korean soldiers in the beginning part actually do react pretty well to what you do, though they do suffer the same problem as Far Cry, where they will instantly pinpoint you if you fire an unsilenced weapon anywhere within a 100-mile radius of them. But when you get in close, they do act decently well. When you're in the jungle, they will often crouch and try to hide in the trees to avoid being spotted. Or if you're in a village and they hear a noise, they will often investigate it slowly and cautiously. However, this doesn't really make up for how powerful you are, but it does mean that you do have pretty realistic interactions with these soldiers. The guns also work well and are all unique enough that you will often be able to find one for any job you're facing. Heading into a village? Grab a shotgun. Need general crowd control? Grab the assault rifle. Even more useful is the fact that you can switch attachments for guns on the fly to fit this situation, in addition to switching firing modes for most of your primary weapons. The only 2 problems with the guns are the sniper rifle and the SCAR assault rifle you begin the game with. Except for 2 points in the game, you will never find SCAR ammo, so as soon as you kill your first Korean, you end up dropping the SCAR for the FY-71, which strikes me as kind of odd for an American Special Forces team. The sniper rifle also isn't very useful, as there aren't many points you can use it effectively, especially since you can't put a silencer on it, meaning that as soon as you fire one shot, every enemy within a 10-mile radius has spotted you. The fact that you also can't steady the scope means you can't line up shots well, so by the time you would have one kill, you could have snuck in and charged and killed everyone with any of the other available weapons.
The last part of gameplay I want to talk about is the vehicles. Now, the vehicles in this game have been made fun of for a very long time, almost since its release, and I can't entirely agree. The boats and the cars do respond fairly well to your commands, though there are some physics issues where if you run into someone with a Jeep, I found that I would just hit a brick wall even though it was a person. My Jeep would just slam into them and stop, and they would just fall over. Sometimes the boats would just lodge into the ground and just not move, but they weren't terrible. You could control the cars and boats. The big problem is the VTOL section near the end of the game. I hated this section. You cannot control this thing. I swear it has a mind of its own. You can't control when you go up. I would be mashing the up key and it would go down. There were tons of other problems. You can't move fast at all. There are other VTOLs in your group who move way faster than you do. I never found myself moving more than like 5 miles an hour. Your rotational speed is terrible. You have to dodge tornadoes and enemy fighters constantly. This is the worst segment of the game by far and nearly made me stop playing. Do not take this section lightly.
Anyway, now that that rant is over, I would like to make a small apology. As of this review, I have not had a chance to utilize the Crysis multiplayer nor the map editor, though I know that the multiplayer is still going fairly strong, as there are a number of active servers up to this day. New maps still occasionally get released from the community, though General Lots told me that he actually broke his game by altering the first map design, which caused there to be no cutscenes at level ends, and causing the game to crash between levels. However, from what I have seen, the multiplayer seems like it would be a fun experience, especially with friends. Though the game types seem a bit limited, with there being only 2, there are a number of maps and scenarios that would make it interesting. I'm sure that the suit modes also play a big part in making some strategies viable in this game that would never be possible in others, such as leaping over a high wall or successfully escaping a guard tower as an enemy's missile slams into it behind you. The only reason I don't want to try it is because I have no friends who own the game to make the online more fun, but it does seem like a fun, if repetitive, multiplayer with a few good gameplay twists to compensate for limited game modes.
In the end, do I recommend Crysis? The answer is a tentative yes, but only from a bargain bin. I bought the game for $10 on a sale online, and I don't regret it. The single player is fun, and you will enjoy finding different ways to tackle each parts of missions. There are some graphical bugs and AI bugs, but there are also some major plot holes, like how the hell the North Koreans got nanosuit tech, that will take away from the fun a bit, but still is fun to play. The multiplayer, I can imagine, is quite fun with the ability to work out nanosuit tactics with your friends. So yes, I would recommend Crysis, but buy it from the bargain bin, which is probably where it is by now, so go get it. But anyway guys, I'm going to sign off for now. I hope you enjoyed this review of Crysis, and my name is Timpedia, and I will catch you guys next time.